Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion, Place of Binding Classic AFTERBIRTH Plus. Let's do Boss Rush as someone we've never done. No, okay, that will not be done. Let's do the Dark Room path as a character we've never... Okay, we've never done that. So, I mean, like, okay, we could do a little Samson Dark Room path. We need the negative on basically everybody, but we have done Shoal on some people. You know what? Lazarus... Let's do some Lazarus light side path. Apparently we have not done this. It's a good opportunity to be Laz again. Here's your seed today, KY1G, TCA 8. The real metagame of a new save file in Isaac is trying to remember all the... Yeah, great damage there. Trying to remember all the checkboxes you need to tick in order to ensure that you can actually complete the posted notes as is required. We don't really care about a lover's card, to be honest with you, at least not yet. Because we probably do want to invoke the Lazarus principle here on our starting floor. At least that's my perspective. I gotta be honest, I've been slumping a little bit in Isaac, and I don't even mean like slump the jam, slump it up while your feet are stumping. I mean like I've been playing like pretty much trash lately. I don't know if my brain is fully switched over into like Divinity Original Sin 2 mode, so whenever I see top down, even though Divinity is technically isometric, which is a 3/4 camera or a 2/3 camera in some situations, we're for whatever reason we're on the wrong track. Back up, because it's on NATE and me, the War into the G. Hopefully our I'm not Warren G. And you know what? I don't want to be Warren G. Not that I'm disrespecting his life, but I'm happy enough in my own life. And you know, Warren G had his time in the 1990s, and I'm sure he's still doing okay to this day. But I don't want to like swap into a hip hop artist past the prime of their career. I think if you were like NL, do you want to trade spots with Ice Cube circa 1989? I'd be like, you know what? Can I try it out for a week before I see for myself? Like, I'm pretty happy in my own life, and, there's a lot about it that I would miss, but I can't deny that that would be cool. But if they're like, hey, you want to be Ice Cube now? I'd be like, I don't know, I'm trading, like, probably 20 years of my life for, the opportunity to star in 29 Jump Street? Maybe, maybe not, right? I knew there was going to be a room to secret here. It's a decent amount of capital. Nothing there. Then our second secret room must be down here, and that is indeed correct. And okay, we got some really, really good stuff, but I really want some bombs. Careful what you wish for, buddy. Okay, so we are a genius, and we got blood bag. Come on, give me a little money here. Or, sorry, give me some keys, I mean. I just now want to go to the shop, because there's a couple of opportunities for us to get something valuable out of bombs. One is the tinted rock, and one is the other stone chest in there. So there is a bomb for sale, and the items in here are kind of trash. So my thinking is, there's a really obvious way to mess this up, and that's to pick up blood bag right away. But I think we should instead end our own lives, probably. There we go, we got something out of it. I'm going to take dim bulb from this point onwards, but... then pick up blood bag after that and whatever we get from our boss here, and then we're in a really, really nice spot. It would be nice to blow that up as well. We could probably make it happen by giving our reroll machine in our shop a couple of cents, and then it'll reroll. We could buy a bomb for 5 cents, probably ruin our chance of getting an arcade, but get a Spirit Heart in all likelihood. That Spirit Heart will give us a great chance of getting a deal with the devil, and all of a sudden we're like extremely off to the races as Lazarus here. This is an incredibly good start. Basically getting a free blood bag, and also, in the process, justifying the existence of X-ray goggles, an item that I probably underrate, if I'm being honest with you. I always take, like, the, would you trade lives with blah? It's kind of a, it's a young man's question, or a young lady's question, for that matter. Because once you end up, you have like a family, for example. They're like, would you trade your life for Ice Cube's life? You're like, well, you're asking me to trade in my, this is a hypothetical here. I'm not speaking as myself. You're asking me to trade in like my wife, my son, and then get somebody else's wife and son. It's just it's a strange question, wouldn't you? So, I mean, like, it's kind of an inherently selfish ask. I found pills. I was hoping that'd be a little better. Like, would you trade your family for somebody else's family, but you also get to be rich? And maybe a little bit famous as well. Like, it's a little bit of a selfish ask. If your significant other or spouse asks you that question, well, if you trust each other and it's a safe space, give your honest answer. But otherwise, there is a correct answer, and the answer is no, baby, of course not. We're going down to the next floor here. We have really statted ourselves up relative to the norm here for a Lazarus run, particularly with respect to our speed, which is a secondary stat most of the time. Damage is a little bit better because we've resurrected ourselves as Lazarus. And I chose to, let's be honest, the reason I chose, and some people may disagree with this, the reason I chose to go flat penny over, just be careful on this room. This room has ruined many a deal with the devil chance in its day. The reason I chose illuminated bulb over flat penny is because we already have 6 keys, and that's like potentially almost as much as we'll need for the rest of the game. It's a little bit of an exaggeration potentially, but not by much, to be honest with you. No. Okay, we're good. I kind of just want to wait for the portal to tap out. This is oh, that'll also work. It's a bad room there. So or illuminated bulb, which I sometimes call dim bulb just for kicks, is not good at all for us right now, but could potentially be good one day. And this room has a spirit heart. It's the more boring decision to do this, but I'm gonna buy the spirit heart, and the reason for that is because I really want to get a deal with the devil, and that is like 12 out of 10. We'll get a small speed downgrade, but it's basically irrelevant. Instead, we're going to be very stoked to have the extra damage. We're up to 6.23 damage, and it's actually more than 6.23 damage because of the fact that we have chemical peel. So I believe half of our shots are going to be doing either 9.3 damage or possibly 12.4 damage, you know, plus 50% and plus 100% respectively on those values. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's been my back of the napkin sort of approach. We got pentagram for even more damage, and then I'm pretty happy to have super bandage for some extra HP. I'm gonna take a little bit of a risk here and use 2 of clubs. That's not gonna be remarkably productive. That's allowed us to potentially pick up a spirit heart there. Thank you. HP's looking good, and really this is a run that I don't know if it's conceivable to mess this one up. It's almost like the perfect run. Sure, it's no like Brimstone Mom's Knife or anything like that, but we have 7 damage leaving the 2nd floor. Really good defensive choices as well. Stats are nothing to be concerned about at the present moment. We're just like really well equipped to tackle this run. So quickly check this, and in fact, we're in such a good situation, I will even, well, there's no reason to risk a spirit heart. Let's just place this down. This is one way to break a slump, I'll tell you that much. These are better stats than we have at the end of the game sometimes. We also have Deal with the Devil precedent to go along with it. And to be honest with you, a pretty nice trinket here that is not providing us any value yet, but could fairly easily one day. I really want more options. We're way behind schedule for boss rush, but it's so irrelevant that I'm gonna like use bombs, even though I probably should avoid doing so. Come on, you wouldn't. Just give me 1 penny. Dang, okay, well, more options we will abandon. There were still some pots left over, but shouldn't cheese it too much. I mean, the game has been extremely kind to us. Now, it would be nice to make a little bit of a play for going a little faster, because although boss rush is not very relevant to our interests right now, it's always nice to get another item. Maybe... No, we have done Hush already. We haven't done Mega Satan. I don't know. It wasn't really in the cards for us. Usually if you want to do Mega Satan, you're going to avoid that first deal with the devil. Which, obviously, like, we did not, in case that's not abundantly clear. That's okay. I think. Let's try out a little magic mush gamble here. I think 5 mushrooms is like a very reasonable opportunity for you to try to pick up magic mush, in my opinion. Now, this is how you know that my brain is broken. Like, I mean, those are some darn good items, dude. Blank card and diplopia. We have such good stats. Better stats than you would ever expect to have. Oh my god. Goat head, too. Better stats than you would ever expect to have by this point in a run. Not even sweating that. And, I'm still like, you know what would be sick? Is if we just used our cube of meat to kill everything. So for 15 cents, we could get all of this. And that actually might be the approach I take instead of stealing a deal with the devil item. But I do kind of like the idea of stealing 4 boss rush items, even though blank card is really good. So I'm going to try to do this, even though diplopia is one of those items that has always had a little bit of a contentious sort of use case, I think. Oh my god. More options would have been real sweet there. Like, no matter how you use diplopia, it's always divisive. You know, it's not like using the D6 where people are like, that item's garbage, you made a good decision. Instead, it's like, you could have had slightly more of or slightly less of an opportunity cost on diplopia if you used it here. And I like that. Might seem like I'm being negative, but I respect that line of reasoning quite a lot, to be honest with you. But it's part of what makes Isaac such an engaging game, is that not only is the game, like the gameplay in Isaac, the actual moment-to-moment dodging and, you know, other such riffraff is like a 7. The metagame, though, is like a 19. So on average, that makes it a 13 out of 10. So it's really that kind of like evaluation of the value propositions, in my opinion, that makes the game enduring. Like the first couple of times you play it, you're like, it's kind of fun. It's a little Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I get it. Why does he have 2,300 hours in this? And then you're like, 100 videos later, you're like, how dare you take X trinket over Y trinket? You know, it's like, it inspires tribalism in a way that I think is astonishing. Okay, stop just walking into enemies. That is actually just stupid. Every room is just full of 80 mushrooms, though. So maybe it's not stupid. Maybe it's actually genius, now that I think about it. I really, like, I don't know how many, probably like 30 videos I've gone on this exact same tangent. But I really think that Rebirth specifically is one of the most one of the most well-designed games of all time. In terms of, like, structuring it in such a way that it encourages repeat play without being super repetitive. It's like a landmark video game for that. There's no other roguelite has really come close, in my opinion. Sure, there's a few other roguelites I got, you know, 100 hours in, 200 hours in. And that's a lot. That's a lot of playtime. For many people watching this, that would probably qualify for, like, the most they've ever played a game ever. For anyone that's ever played a MOBA, they're going, you're like a little baby. Your limited amount of playtime makes me laugh. You're like a small child. Sorry, it's a little framey on the preview as well. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's fine. I don't know. It's weird. Like, sometimes the preview looks framey and then the video's fine. Sometimes the game looks framey and the preview looks smooth as butter. It's like myriad pseudo-technical issues here, but I think it's relatively smooth. But nothing's come close to Isaac's, like, as far as I'm concerned, this game is, like, potentially eternal. I could play it once a day forever and have a good time. Sometimes you're enjoying it more than others. I won't deny that acquiescence, but it's a testament to the design. Gungeon was close, and you know the updates could change it, but just a little too long. Whenever a roguelite is like the average run is an hour, comes a little tougher for me, but your mileage may vary. Sister Maggie, so we're really feeling the burn for not taking more options earlier. This dude has not paid out with spiders, I think, which is awesome. We're almost on pace for boss rush. My dream case for boss rush is we get one of those rare, like, 8-item boss rushes. Getting 4 items for free is great. Getting 8 items for free is like having another whole, like, 1 run's worth of item rooms stacked on top of your existing run. Now, if all 8 of them are active items, might be a little cheesed, but... So, of course, we continue to get deals with the devil because of Goathead, in case you're wondering where that's coming from. Nose Goblin is, like, potentially worth losing Illuminated Bulb. If we're going to take both of these, and we could use Diplopia to get them for free, but I don't think it's that valuable. I could consider taking Nose Goblin, and actually... No, I think we're better off with the Bulb. The Bulb is really good. So is Nose Goblin, but I think we're better off with the Bulb. Because the idea is that eventually, you know, we're gonna lose Diplopia. And the odds are, like, if I had to put smart money on it, if we get a boss rush with 4 items, which, by the way, sometimes you get one with 2 items, so there is a possibility you'd get one with less than 4 items. But if you get 4 items or more, one of them is probably going to be active. So when you Diplopia, you're going to be able to grab something to replace this with. And even if it's a garbage spacebar item, garbage spacebar items are made into pretty good passives just by virtue of having the Illuminated Bulb. And if it's useful, then even better, but... Diplopia is actually a great case for us because it counts as being fully charged, I think, despite the fact that we're not using it for anything at all right now. I am an idiot moron, man. The sooner you realize this about yourself, because it's not just me, I'm talking about the human condition, the better off you're gonna be. My meat brain is so much, you know, like, so far behind where it should be. And I can't wait for the robots to iron out the inefficient processes. First step, robots. Stop making me crave Doritos. It's a vestigial trait to want that much, you know, salt, fat, and powdered cheese in my body. We don't need it anymore. Get rid of my Dorito cravings. Or alternatively, robots, make the Doritos like 0 calories. Secondarily, make it so I'm not tempted to use cube of meat anymore. You might say, oh, NL, why don't you take some personal responsibility and build, you know, better habits? And this applies to the Doritos thing, you know, as well as the cube of meat. And I say, that's for the birds. That's for less evolved species than human beings. I'm not going to take any personal responsibility if I could just, you know, gene mod all of my inefficient and undesirable traits out of myself, okay? I don't need to go through, build good habits. Nah, son. Unnecessary. On the shoulders of giants, we will let these big pharma companies develop a way to create the perfect human being, and then I'll just opt in. We do not... Actually, you know what? We do want AWAS, because to teleport out of Boss Rush is preferable, I suppose. But I'm not joking. I am, of course, obviously joking. It is our differences and perhaps even our flaws as humans that make us unique and beautiful. However, I would like to lose whatever evolutionary trait is going. You know what would be fun? Crashing into enemies with cube of meat despite having like 8.4 damage and a good rate of fire. We can dump that. Get that out of here. We also have to make Boss Rush, which actually is pretty easy, I think. Once... No secret room there. Once you realize that we have the compass... Shouldn't be too hard, even though we're going to be maybe a minute behind schedule, which is significant as you approach the end of the game, but... Once you realize that we're, rocking that compass, we should be pretty much good to go. Get some bombs in there, because, cluster bombs can help take this guy out. I maintain this is like the hardest depths boss in the game. Almost impossible. The amount of real estate you have to dodge these shots is like 0. But this is a fun, difficult boss. It's not like when you fight, oh, dude, I mean, you got it. I'm not gonna take that just because I don't expect to die. We also just got Leviathan. And polydactyly allows me to get an iPhone pills. It's not like when you have, like, no damage and you fight Champion Ragman right off the bat. That's just, like, just take me out like a Franz Ferdinand song. Sorry, like the Franz Ferdinand song. I know they have more songs, okay? I own self-titled 2004, Franz Ferdinand, Dark of the Matinee. You know, lots of classics on that. I know the second one as well, which I can't remember what it's called, but it had maybe it was called "You Can Have It So Much Better." I can't remember. There was definitely a song on it. That was the lead single, I think. No, the lead single was "Do You Wanna." Okay, look, this is another thing we could mod out of my brain. Although I worry that I would Stepford Wives it a little bit and lose what makes me unique, or at least eccentric. What do we got down here? Kane's Other Eye. That's not particularly strong. I'm going to basically mainline my way to try to make this Diplopia technique work here. Mainline my way to the mom fight specifically. Not good. Although, you know, we're going to take a lot of damage here, but it's not a daily. We'll have to do dailies at some point. Might as well get used to the idea that those days are approaching again. However, we're not that incentivized to not take damage here. In fact, like, I'm gonna cheese through some of these rooms. Because really, like, the thrust of this run being interesting is dependent, to a mild extent, on making sure that we make it to boss rush. And it looks like we're going to, but on rooms with a lot of annoying enemies, it's for the birds, dude. Skip by it. Can we beat Mom in under, like, 50 seconds? I think the answer should be absolutely, unless we fight like a really cheesy red mom that, okay, that puts a foot up and then never puts it back down. Happens from time to time, but we're looking good here. Yeah, we're looking extremely good here. Got us behind, looking darn good though. Easy money. We do want the Polaroid on this one. The deal with the devil's gonna stay open, but why don't we look? You know, we already fought Krampus. We already paid the toll there. Forget those pills, dude. We got 4 items, I think. We got a spacebar item. We got 2 spacebar items. We got Proptosis. Jacob's Ladder is like a great one-time use item. Mega Bean. And then the D8. So the D8 is your Zane here. We'll take Proptosis. 2 Proptosis doesn't do jack, apparently, but that's fine. Let's head down to the next floor. We are statted up, dude. I almost don't want to roll because our stats are so good, but the purpose of the D8 is having, is rolling. Even though this run is like 20 out of 10 right now. I am going to roll. Now keep in mind, you're going to go, oh, all the stats went down. That was garbage. We won't know until we get the bulb illuminated whether or not this was a good choice or a bad choice. Because we lose a lot of stats right off the bat from not having a full charge on our spacebar items. So it's gonna take us 4 rooms to figure out whether or not it was a good call. And once we're set, once we got like 20 damage or something, we'll just get our illuminated bulb to persistently give us an all stats up. Even this, like, if we traded in damage for speed, we're still killing it here, let's be honest. So I think our rate of fire did get worse, and our damage might have gotten mildly better. This one looks like, okay, our rate of fire improved drastically, our speed is horrible, and our damage is going to be a little bit less, but with Jacob's Ladder, I think it's actually possible, although I don't want to say guaranteed, or probable, but I think it's possible that this could be kind of the chosen reroll here. Basically, like, maybe more than doubled our rate of fire. Oh, why not, dude? More than doubled our rate of fire, crushed our speed in a bad way, but left us in a glorious position from a DPS standpoint, because it only took a little bit of damage and it gave us an absolute ton of stats. So we're firing super quickly. Our speed is okay. Not great, but okay. I don't want to lose this rate of fire. I think I'm going to roll with this for a little while. I think we could eventually stat up in like all categories by using D8. I'm not sure though. I think it's every stat has an equal chance to go up or down. So if you roll enough, you know, you might expect to beat the odds once out of, you know, X number of plays. And everybody, by the way, they're going to hear that and go, NL, that's not how probability works. Stop echoing what your stats prof told you when you slightly misunderstood, okay? That is how stats work. Sure, every roll has an equal chance to... the odds are the same roll to roll. But the more you increase the sample size, the more you introduce variance into the situation. You know, that's why in a lot of scientific studies, they cull outliers, is because... Well, it's one of the reasons, I suppose, is because, you know, the outliers are not actually representative of what you would expect the mean response to look like in a sample, so... It's like if you bought 1 billion lottery tickets, your odds of winning the lottery go up. It's the same, people go like, you know, they're I don't know why this is like, this is the thing I'm most passionate about. Hey, Anel, how do you feel about politics and income inequality and blah, blah, blah? Well, I don't like to get into controversial subjects. How do you feel about a misinterpretation of statistics? It's extremely bad. But people go like, you know, I might say something like, well, you know, if you flip a coin 6 times, you're probably gonna get a heads at some point. People go, oh, excuse me, the number, every time you flip it, you have the same odds as the first time you flipped it. Yeah, you ain't wrong. But just, why don't you go test it for yourself? Go to random.org, flip a coin, do it 6 times, tell me how many times you don't get ahead. Or like, do it 6 times like 1,000. Tell me how many times you don't get ahead. You know, you lose 50% likelihood every single time of the sample working, assuming it's an equally weighted coin. People just commonly, not everybody, and you might be saying, who thinks this, NL? I know people who think this. We almost should fight Hush, except our resources, like, are not necessary to, like, we don't have the requirements. Like, people, I think they just misinterpret probability a little bit, is what I'm trying to say. If you flip a coin once, yeah, it's 50-50. No question. If you flip a coin 6 times, what are the odds of not getting any heads? It's like 1/2 to the power of 6. You got a 1 in 64 chance of never getting a heads. You don't have a 50-50 chance of never getting a head. And when you put it in plain text like that, I think it's obvious, but sometimes people misinterpret it a little bit. So we have to, speaking of which, we're misinterpreting our means of using Guppy's head here. We should use Guppy's head at the end of a room instead of at the start of a room, so that we get the maximum value from having illuminated bulb here. By the way, if you're saying nobody thinks that, congratulations, you have like very intelligent friends. And also you don't read YouTube comments. It's good stuff. We should stick with illuminated bulb, I think, quite obviously here. It's given us good stats. We maybe should have rolled the D8 a little bit more, but, you know, that train has sailed. We also became Guppy. Right? So, like, using Guppy's head is not really particularly relevant, potentially, but this has been an 11 out of 10 run. Like, a very, very, very good run that we pretty much have no reason whatsoever to complain about. Everything went very well here. Oh, you're gonna leave 1 spirit heart behind. No, this is another statistical, let me explain it to you in so many, no, okay, see, I'm just joking. That's just laziness on my part. Alright, so Dream Crush this dude. You're done. We out. This would actually be a 10 out of 4 run. That's right, it would be 250%. If we could get a void portal. So dump on that. Thank you. Good. Very good. Decent. Very good. Good. Sorry, Stuart. It's a good item, but Guppy's head has it beat. The Halo, it's a good item. Rubber cement is just, you want to get weird, mama? Let's get weird. This is, I'll call it, like, maybe the most powerful and yet also fun run that I've had since starting up the new save file. This is like, we got so many of the cool items that are also semi-new, at least from, you know, my standpoint, that I'm stoked. We would steamroll Void. And Delirium, specifically, but make me prove it. Come on, hit me. I want you to hit me. Ah! Oh, shucks, we don't get to fight the delirium on this one. We do get store credit, though, which is a great trinket. For now, though, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the episode, if you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal, and of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.